So I don't know how many of you are writing tests. If you talk to any of the rankers, 99.99% of all the rankers, what they say is one thing which is common: practice. Writing practice. Writing practice. It might be MCQs practice or it might be descriptive questions practice. Hello. Hello. No, if you want, you can use that. Okay. So the most important element is writing practice. So don't miss this practice element. So Abhyasa is a very beautiful program, and then try to utilize this program to the maximum extent possible. So don't miss the tests. We'll be tracking your tests. Okay, who is writing what, and then how many marks you are getting, how many people are writing the test, how many are not writing the test, why you guys are not writing the test if at all you are not writing the test. Even if you are getting marks also, why you are getting only that average level mark, why not a better mark? Okay, so all these things will be tracking you guys, and then from tomorrow onwards I will be starting my one-to-one sessions. My one-to-one sessions means I will call two of you guys on a daily basis. Every day 2 candidates will be called. I'll be talking with them on different aspects. So my specialty is that I am good at making strategies of cracking any kind of exam. Okay, I'm good at that area. Okay. So though I could not crack civil services, because of that reason itself, I became an expert of how to crack any kind of exam. So the idea is on one-to-one basis, because everyone needs to have his or her own strategy to crack this exam. So in view of that, I want you to start forming a strategy. You cannot find out a strategy and start implementing that. Not possible as of now. So a strategy has to be formed over a period of time. Okay. Now you guys will be interacting with me on daily basis on one-on-one. It's not one-to-many or many-to-one. It is just one-on-one. That's it. Yourself and myself. That's it. No one else. We'll be talking maybe for 15 minutes or 20 minutes or half an hour. Sometimes it might go up to 1 hour, 1.5 hours also possible. That depends upon the kind of issues that you have. Okay. So you can talk to me on anything. It might be about civil service exam or something else also. Maybe your personal issues also you can talk to me. I'm good at counseling. Okay. So in this context, whoever is called for tomorrow, I don't know who is called for tomorrow, whoever is called. So you try to frame yourself what to talk with me. You can get list of those questions if you want to ask me also. Okay. Write it down. Okay, whether you are called or not for tomorrow, but maybe next week or maybe some other week you might be called. But still, whatever you want to ask me, just keep note of them. All those bunch of questions, you bring it to me, I will answer all those questions. Number 2, we'll discuss morning, whenever you wake up in the morning till the time you sleep in the night, we'll discuss the entire routine as well. Okay, any possibility of trying to modify that routine to a certain extent. Okay, how to optimize that routine maybe, I would rather say that way. Okay, that is something which we'll try to discuss based on your priorities as well. Okay, that I will come to know only if you open up your mind and talk to me. If you just don't open up your mind and say that, sir, I don't have any issues, and I don't have anything to talk in that case. You open up your mind and talk to me, and then we can discuss, we can try to resolve your issues. The main idea why I want these sessions to happen one-to-one is that initial days, I don't say very first day onwards, initial days, maybe 1 week, 10 days or 2 weeks or 1 month, whatever. In these days, it so happens that you keep on reading, but there will be certain mental blocks will be there. Small mental blocks which obstruct your progress. And which sometimes you don't even know that there are certain mental blocks there. Okay, I get an opportunity to identify those mental blocks and try to remove those blocks, clarify your path, clarify your journey, so that your journey of the civil service preparation would be as fruitful as possible and as successful as possible. So that I've tried to ensure that right from beginning we have that one. Okay? So that's the idea. So whoever is called for tomorrow, you can just we can work it out. So this is what the idea of this one-to-one. Okay? I'm from my experience, based on my experience, I will try to resolve your issues. It can be some personal issues also. I don't say that, sir, I'm in love with one girl, I want to marry that girl, please talk to my parents. I'm not the one for that. Okay. See, as far as our exam is concerned, any kind of blocks that you have, that is something which I can resolve. Okay? Don't say that, sir, that is the only block that I have. Okay, I don't have any issue in talking to your parents, that's not a big deal. Okay? But that doesn't resolve your issue, right? If I talk to your parents, will that resolve your issue? No way, right? So that should be resolved in some other way. Or some because of someone else that you are getting trouble. Okay, maybe that one boy is disturbing you. Okay, or one girl is disturbing you. Okay? If it is within the campus, I can resolve it. Outside the campus, I am least bothered. Is that clear? Obviously, right? Why I should be, right? Because I cannot keep on getting into your personal these things. That's not possible. Though yes, your parents would have given me the authority of talking to you guys on different things, but you are not kids, you are not small kids, so I cannot just intervene in your personal affairs. But yes, to the extent of what I can do for you, I can do. Okay? So you can utilize my services in this context to the extent possible. Right? Okay? Any issues? I want to lose now. Okay? Catch you then. So tomorrow onwards, 6:30 to 9, it is IR. Okay? My bad. My bad. Today, will be taken.
Or else it is in advance. Okay. No, please. So let us start from the point. That point we left, that Linguistic Provinces Commission was formed, and the responsibility was to point out merits and demerits of language criteria. And you had last, the word was accordingly. I remember so. Fine? In which. Very nice. It's a really interacting with you younger aspirants all across India. It makes me feel very blessed. Very blessed. Ki kya baat hai? And even you say all across India, wherever I am visiting for lectures, and if I say, suppose in which, and last word before session is accordingly, they will remind me, sir, it was accordingly. Very good. In which you point out first, because I have already discussed before leaving the session, so we should cover that area in writing. Thereafter, we will take up fresh. Fine. Point out, please. In which, change the para. If language criteria, in which, if language criteria is taken into account, if language criteria is taken into account for state reorganization, if language criteria is taken into account for state reorganization, then serving people would be easier. Serving people would be easier provided all India services are subjected to language training. Provided all India services are subjected to language training. All India services are subjected to language training. Change the para. However, language criteria may lead to conflicts in India. Language criteria may lead to conflicts in India. Change the para. Report of the commission was considered by JVP committee. Report of the commission was considered by JVP committee, including Jawaharlal Nehru, Vallabhbhai Patel, Pattabi Sitaramaiah. Including Jawaharlal Nehru, Vallabhbhai Patel, and Pattabi Sitaramaiah. Change the para. The committee suspended the idea of language criteria. The committee suspended the idea of language criteria of state reorganization. The committee suspended the idea of language criteria of state reorganization out of fear of violence all across India. Out of fear of violence all across India. Meanwhile, all across India, right, please. Out of fear of violence all across India in April 1949. Out of fear of violence all across India in April 1949. Change the para. Meanwhile, in September 1949, Hindi was declared as official language. Under Article 343. Hindi was declared as official language under Article 343, which led to strong protest, especially from southern India. Change the para. Madras presidency strongly protested. Madras presidency strongly protested and demanded separate state Tamil Nadu, on the ground of separate state Tamil Nadu on the ground of Tamil being oldest literature, on the ground that Tamil being oldest literature in Dravidian culture. Tamil being oldest literature in Dravidian culture, change the para. In reaction, Telugu speaking people from northern part of Madras presidency, Telugu speaking people from northern part of Madras presidency, demanded separate Andhra state, Andhra state. It was led by a Gandhian leader. Potti Sriramulu. Change the para. The ruling interim government, I think all of you remember interim government led by Nehru. The ruling interim government led by Nehru assured that all such demands would be considered after Lok Sabha election, which got completed in 1952, change the para. However, even after formation of majority government led by Nehru, the demand was not considered. So the Gandhian leader went on fast. On 19th October 1952, which continued up to 15th December 90. Go through it. It is 27-28 years practice. Always go through net. Thereafter, in between, never speak. It is 19th October 1952, then November, then December, 2 months, and 15th December he died. It's not facts figure. It's a question of your concern for that great leader who continued for fast for around 2 months. For 2 days we can't survive. 2 months. That is it. Please. Okay. No problem. But in between, please don't interrupt. Entire class gets disturbed otherwise. And any factual thing, anything, any faculty, including me, whenever you have any discrepancy, you always go on official websites. Check on a official website, you will get it. Fine. So, which continued till 15th December 1952, when that leader died, change the para. His death generated, change the para, his death generated large scale violence. His death generated large scale violence and compelling situation for ruling government, large scale violence and compelling situation for ruling government, compelling situation for ruling government, compelling situation for ruling government, So Andhra State was formed in 1953. Andhra State was formed in 1953, followed by Andhra State was formed in 1953, followed by State Reorganization Commission, followed by formation of a State Reorganization Commission, followed by formation of a State Reorganization Commission, led by Justice Fazal Ali, a State Reorganization Commission led by Justice Fazal Ali from 1953 itself, led by Justice Fazal Ali in 1953 itself, change the para. The commission reported, the commission recommended, you write recommended, the commission recommended, and here also just one correction you keep in mind, otherwise you may get confused always. Commission ने जो recommend किया था 1956 में, 1953 commission formed, 1955 commission reported within 2 years. They recommended 16 states and 2 union territory. But the government commended entire process. No 16 state, no union, 2 union territory. The government carried out 7th constitutional amendment in 1956 and formed 14 states and 6 union territory. So once again, 16 state, 2 union territory was recommendation, and 7th constitutional amendment 1956 by which India got a federation shape by 14 states and 6 union territory. Got it? Point out, recommended 16 state and 2 union territory. 16 states and 2 union territory, but 16 state and 2 union territory in 1955, but finally 14 states and 6 union territory, but finally 14 states and 6 union territory was formed. 14 states and 6 union territory was formed by 7th constitutional amendment. 14 states and 6 union territory was formed by 7th constitutional amendment in 1956. 7th constitutional amendment 1956, and India emerged as a federation. India emerged as federation. India emerged as federation. In the para. State reorganization in India. In the para. State reorganization in India, followed by state reorganization in India, followed by further demand of separate state. State reorganization in India, followed by further demand for separate state. Accordingly, and now you hold writing here, because before lunch and after lunch also we have not discussed this point now. Have concentration for a few minutes. Nehru-led government, after Nehru had commanding majority because of his charismatic leadership at that point of time. 52 election, massive Congress majority. Nehru became Prime Minister of India. And thereafter, Nehru, of course, as I explained you, that Nehru did not understand the gravity. It happens with the government. When you do something, you may commit mistakes. That is very common. So Nehru could not understand gravity of that Gandhian leader and his fast. And because of that, that was fast unto death. And because of his death, the government was in compelling situation. Government could not afford delay. And immediately in 1953, Andhra state was formed. One thing I would like to remind all of you, number of times we sitting in panel, candidate coming from Andhra Pradesh, we ask them, what is word Andhra? कुछ कैंडिडेट बताते हैं, मेजॉरिटी नहीं बताते हैं. So be clear, Andhra state, Andhra Pradesh is by name of tribe Andhra. Andhra is ancient tribe. Their mention is in Mahabharata also. They are warrior kind of tribe, and by their name this Andhra Pradesh came, just like Mizoram, Nagaland. So like that this Andhra Pradesh has formed. So Andhra state first formed in 1953. Nehru, without delay, a state reorganization commission formed, led by Justice Fazal Ali. The commission worked on war footing. In 1955, commission recommended 16 state to union territory. Nehru government revised that, and by 7th constitutional amendment, 14 states and 6 union territory formed in India, and India could get a federal shape. Federal shape is union state. A federation of India took birth. But Nehru government, in spite of being the first elected government in India, started facing separatism, regionalism. As you have pointed out, roadmap. What separatism, regionalism? Demand for separate state from every corner of the country. कि हमें भी चाहिए separate state. Nehru government earlier tried to deal with military, because violence was all across India, and because of that, Nehru government in 1958, when failed to deal with the situation, they passed an act, a deadly act, what is called Armed Forces Special Power Act of SPA. That was formed in 1958. I will give you that detail, no worries. And by Armed Forces Special Power Act, security forces were empowered to arrest any person without giving reason even. The security forces were empowered to open fire, shoot anyone if challenged. If security forces are challenged, no need to retaliate or warning, open fire. These were, even today, AFSPA is used in Northeast, and when there is absolute power, there would be misuse of power, no exception. That was the compelling situation for Nehru, but yes, Nehru realized immediately that demand for separate states, separatism, regionalism in India could not be ignored for long. Getting the point? So thereafter, state formation started further. In 1960, Bombay state was bifurcated into Maharashtra and Gujarat. 1960. Thereafter, one by one, you have to keep in mind how Indian Federation has come up. 1960, Bombay state got bifurcated into Maharashtra, Gujarat. 1963, Nagaland formed. 1966, Punjab was carved out and Himachal, Haryana formed. Himachal Pradesh, Haryana. ये सब याद नहीं किया जाता है. Never memorize. Because if you are trying to memorize these things, that it is really unfortunate on your part that you are going to serve India and you don't know the parts of India in terms of their formation. It is like knowing your mother, that without looking even your mother, you touch and you say, Ma. You feel her, that feel. Really not emotionally, professionally speaking. That touch you should have. So how India started struggling with demand for separate state, and you what considered, so 60 Maharashtra, Gujarat, 63 Nagaland, 66 Himachal Pradesh, Haryana from Punjab. Thereafter, a bit silence. In 1972, Indira Gandhi government turned towards northeast and Meghalaya, Manipur, Tripura formed in 1972. Thereafter in 1975, Sikkim was princely state. Sikkim got integrated as a state unit of India. However, at that point of time, China was strongly opposing. No, this plebiscite is not valid. But China recognized Sikkim as integral part of India during Vajpayee in 2003. That I will deal with Vajpayee. So that way, I repeat, after this Maharashtra, Gujarat, then Nagaland, then Himachal Pradesh, Haryana, then in 1972, Manipur, Meghalaya, Tripura, and thereafter again silence, and then Sikkim, of course, 1975. Then in 1986, Rajiv Gandhi government formed Mizoram. 1987, NEFA, that was Northeastern Frontier Agency, that NEFA was converted into Arunachal Pradesh state in 1987. In 1987 itself, Goa got complete statehood. So on Arunachal Pradesh and Goa, 1987, 86 Mizoram, 87 Arunachal Pradesh and Goa, thereafter long silence. In the year 2000, Vajpayee government, long pending demand, they formed Uttarakhand, Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh. Thereafter long silence, and you got Telangana in 2014. In spite of the fact, when you'd be studying in polity and governance, I hope so, and you also, because it should be when you are interactive with the faculty also takes huge interest. So in Telangana formation, I would like to remind all of you, you remember, State Assembly opposed formation of Telangana. State Assembly, state legislature has opposed formation of Telangana, but the parliament formed Telangana because Article 3 of Indian Constitution empowers parliament to take final call. Article 3 of Indian Constitution has empowered the parliament to take final call. Whether a state is supporting or opposing, it is to parliament to decide. Then you say, sir, why then asking state when parliament will decide? This is a natural question. See, in terms of democracy, asking you, that is fine. But when I'm asking you, I'm parliament, I'm asking you, and you are more in the interest of your own state, not taking national interest, then I am parliament, I will decide in national interest. Could you get it? इसको डे टू डे एग्जाम्पल्स ऐसे देखो, जैसे मान लो your papa, just example, your papa is thinking of your marriage. So he said that, beta, I have these two photographs, you choose from these two, or else if you have any choice, you let me know. Then you took out your own and putting before Papa, Papa, this is my choice. Papa says, but in the interest of family, this could not be considered. You put it behind. Then you say, then Papa, why did you ask? Then Papa would say, beta, under Article 3 of Indian Constitution, I am supposed to take national interest and you are taking individual interest. I am supposed to take family interest into account. You are taking individual interest into account. So individual interest would be sidelined in national interest. So I will take final call. And you have to marry now. What is Article 3? Then you say, sir, is it not dictatorship? Aisa kabhi nahi socho. India is not a federation. India is union of states. Federation has center, state have equal power, but in union of state, in India, it is the union that forms and reforms the state. It is the union that forms and reforms the state. So India is union of state to ensure unity and integrity of the country. So I repeat once again, this way, Telangana formed, and after formation of Telangana, the game is not over. Separatism is still on rise. Now they demand for separate Vidarbha in Maharashtra, separate Saurashtra in Gujarat, separate state Bundelkhand by uniting MP and UP certain district, Bundelkhand. Thereafter UP itself asking for Purvanchal, then West Bengal asking for Gorkhaland, then Assam asking for Bodoland, and not enough, now Nagaland asking for Greater Nagaland. Then the question is, where is the end? End is possible. End is possible, that UPSC will ask you. See, what is? You should not put your own suggestion ever. Constitutional Review Commission in 2001 had already recommended. That recommendation has not been considered till now because of lack of political will. I repeat, Constitutional Review Commission in 2001 recommended that India should reorganize all the states similar to American model. What is American model? America has 50 states. All states, irrespective of size and population, all states elect 2 senators. All states elect only 2 senators from each state. Because of that, all the states have equal importance in America. And because of that, all states are united always. And because of that, American president feels proud of speaking always, we United States of America. कोई separatism की बात नहीं करता वहां पर. Reason क्या है? They have equal importance. Here in India, what happens? We say Rajya Sabha represent a state, but in Rajya Sabha, out of 28 states today, these are the UPSC question. In Rajya Sabha, out of 28 states today, if 6-7 states get together, big state, like UP, Bihar, Maharashtra, Karnataka, Andhra, Telangana get together, any resolution could be passed from Rajya Sabha, sidelining around 22 states of India. The remaining 22 states said, what is the point of being in Rajya Sabha? आप बेवकूफ बना रहे हैं राज्य सभा बोल करके. What is, where is there a Rajya Sabha? And then UPSC asks question. UPSC थोड़े पूछेगी, is it befooling? UPSC asks question. Council of State in India is referred as Council of State and representing Federation, but its action is non-federal. Comment. लक्ष्मीकांत पढ़ लो आप, लेकिन लक्ष्मीकांत से क्वेश्चन डायरेक्ट कभी नहीं आता है. यूपीएससी में जो सेटर होते हैं ना, they are very smart people. They are not there to harass or embarrass you. They want to see you how much analytical you are. Are you bookish or are you applied candidate? So they ask this kind of question. That means India has one solution. And one more thing, there should be smaller states and all the states should have equal representation in Rajya Sabha. I repeat, all the states should have equal representation in Rajya Sabha so that, no resolution could be passed from Rajya Sabha unless 50% plus 1 states support the resolution. Tab democracy hai. Then you say, sir, why Narendra Modi having so much of majority not doing it? Then I would say, why Indira Gandhi having so much majority at that point of time did not do it? Why Nehru himself did not do it? तो इसमें हम उलझेंगे तो ये हमारे controversial हो जाएंगे आंसर. तो sophisticated line to write is lack of political will. That is more than enough. Lack of political will could not make it. When we are taking from America, we are taking power of judicial review, we are taking fundamental right from America. Why not we should consider American model of federation to end the issue of separatism and regionalism? Got the point? Now, I request all of you, you got the point, you were writing it. And thereafter, when you revise, naturally, time and again, I am asking you, important. So that is UPSC question. You always keep in mind, how do they ask question? They ask question like that demand for separate state in India continuing since independence. What are possible options? You feel like that you are supposed to write option and you suppose start your answer this way. According to me, it's a highly arrogant answer. Better you write according to the recommendation given by Constitutional Review Commission, recommendation by any commission committee, so that it should look logical, that it is not individual suggestion they are asking you. They are asking you suggestion, recommendations, reports of the commission committee, which should be considered, which are not being considered. Getting the point? Point out here. Change the para. And thereafter point out accordingly, point 1, 2, 3, 4 like. Bombay state was divided into Maharashtra and Gujarat in 1960. Bombay state was divided into Maharashtra and Gujarat in 1960. Point-wise you write. Next, Nagaland was formed in 1963. Nagaland was formed in 1963. Next, Haryana and Himachal Pradesh formed from Punjab. Haryana and Himachal Pradesh formed from Punjab in 1966. Haryana and Himachal Pradesh formed from Punjab in 1966. Next, Manipur, Meghalaya, Tripura formed in 1972. Manipur, Meghalaya, Tripura formed in 1972. Formed in 1972. Next, Sikkim became a state unit. Sikkim became a state unit in 1975. Sikkim became a state unit in 1975. Next, Mizoram was formed in 1986. Mizoram was formed in 1986, followed by Arunachal Pradesh and Goa in 1987. Followed by Arunachal Pradesh and Goa in 1987. Arunachal Pradesh and Goa in 1987. Next point. Uttarakhand, Jharkhand and Chhattisgarh. Uttarakhand, Jharkhand and Chhattisgarh formed. Uttarakhand, Jharkhand and Chhattisgarh formed in the year 2000. Uttarakhand, Jharkhand and Chhattisgarh formed in the year 2000. Next, Telangana formed from Andhra Pradesh. Telangana formed from Andhra Pradesh in 2014. 2014, but change the para. But India is still facing. Demand for separate state. India is still facing demand for separate state. Demand for separate state in form of Vidarbha in Maharashtra. In form of Vidarbha in Maharashtra. Saurashtra in Gujarat. Vidarbha in Maharashtra. Saurashtra in Gujarat. Saurashtra in Gujarat, Bundelkhand, then Purvanchal in UP, Bundelkhand, then Purvanchal in UP, Gorkhaland in West Bengal, Bodoland in Assam, Gorkhaland in West Bengal, Bodoland in Assam, and Nagaland has started demanding, and Nagaland is demanding Greater Nagaland. Nagaland is demanding Greater Nagaland. So, change the para. So, the issue of regionalism and separatism. Continued in India since independence. UPSC question. Issues of regionalism and separatism continued in India since independence. So recommendations of Constitutional Review Commission. Recommendation of Constitutional Review Commission should be considered. Recommendation of Constitutional Review Commission should be considered. So that smaller states in India should be formed. It must be based on American model. It must be based on American model of federation. It must be based on American model of federation. American model of federation, where out of 50 states, each state elect 2 senators. Out of 50 states, each state elect 2 senators. Each state elect 2 senators, irrespective of size and geography. Irrespective of geography and population. Every state elects 2 senators, irrespective of geography and population. Such equal representation is very much needed in India. Such equal representation is very much needed in India. So that again UPSC question, so that no resolution could be passed from Rajya Sabha, unless more than 50% states. No resolution could be passed from Rajya Sabha unless more than 50% states support the resolution. More than 50% states support the resolution. More than 50% states support the resolution. It will generate equal importance. It will generate equal importance and promote. It will generate equal importance and promote unity and integrity of India. Again, UPSC question, how to promote unity, integrity, and to promote unity, integrity in India. Unity and integrity in India. Change the para. Nehru became Prime Minister. Change the para. Nehru became Prime Minister on 2nd September 1946. Nehru became Prime Minister on 2nd September 1946, followed by here you stop because it should be clear to you. एक irony आपको बताऊं, what is followed by, why did I stop you? Number of times even mature candidates, since those who have already written mains, interview, appeared, if you ask them how many times Nehru had been Prime Minister of India, hardly, जैसे दिन भर में मान लो अगर 12 या 14 कैंडिडेट 12 कैंडिडेट का इंटरव्यू किया तो hardly 1 or 2 candidates, if this question is asked, hardly 1 or 2 candidates are very much confident in answering, remaining are clueless and feel very embarrassed that they are appearing before board and don't know how many times Nehru. That should be very clear to you younger people. What it is, be clear. Nehru was first appointed interim Prime Minister. I will give you right. Nehru was first appointed interim Prime Minister in 1946 as interim after Constituent Assembly election. Second time he was again appointed interim Prime Minister along with independence. Third time again he was appointed interim Prime Minister after enforcement of Constitution. So 3 times he was appointed interim Prime Minister. I explained you in previous session, interim and caretaker. So he was appointed interim Prime Minister 3 times. Thereafter, 1952 election, 57 election, 62 election. Based on election, he was appointed full-time Prime Ministers. So that means he has 6 terms as Prime Minister, 3 terms as interim, and 3 terms after elections. And he died on 27th May 1964. So 18 years span from 1946 to 1964 is referred as Nehru's era. And that is in paper 1. When you go into paper 1, post-independent India, that first topic is prescribed in post-independent, that is Nehru's era. And request all of you, if you're really very keen to clear this examination in one go, first criteria is that syllabus should be on your fingertips. Then questions should be on your fingertips. These are religiously first thing to do. And thereafter you attend the session. Then only you are able to make out what kind of questions are asked from which area. So I repeat, this is Nehru, 6 terms, and what is Nehru's era. So here you are writing it so that you should be keeping on recorded. And thereafter, Nehru's era is known for initiative, lots of initiative. What initiative? Then we would be, apart from Constituent Assembly, apart from interim government, integration of princely state reorganization, Nehru contributed in setting ideal of secularism in India, socialism in India, mixed economy in India, planning system in India, Mahalanobis model in India, community development. I will give you all. अभी मैं पहले इसलिए बोल देता हूं कि जैसे आप चौंकते हो ना, ऐसे सरप्राइज तब होता है when the things are not in mind. 99% of you are good. You getting it. Thereafter, you okay. This is, and thereafter another thing is when you hear TV or audio, video media, anything, somebody is saying Nehru ne. It's not a question of party politics. It's a question of those. Suppose lots of people say Nehru ne spoil कर दिया country. ना तो आप कहते हैं कि सर जी आप जब कंट्रीब्यूशन लिखना शुरू करोगे ना तो हाथ टायर्ड हो जाएगा. And take yourself in the era of Nehru, what kind of challenges he was facing with limited resources in newly born country. It is easy to criticize. And if he committed mistake, yes, if somebody is doing something, he would be committing mistake. If someone is committing same mistake, then he's wrong. If he's committing zero mistake, it means he is doing nothing. समझ में आती है बात? समझ में आ रही है ना बात? See, ये जो लाइन बोलता हूं ना, these lines are called extra constitutional line. ये lines को आप यूज करते हैं ऐसे में. Because when we blame certain leaders for their mistakes, and first thing you always, whosoever criticizing, whosoever he or she be, first thing you ask question, sir, criticizing leaders, that's fine, sir. What have you contributed so far in nation building of India? आपने अभी तक क्या किया है? नहीं, that I am trying. No, sir, you are trying. And those who already contributed, have some respect for them. Dadaji committed certain mistake, let it be corrected by father. Father committed certain mistake, let it be corrected by son. Son committing certain mistake, let it be corrected by future generation. Blaming always, looking forward and blaming, it is never ever. And this is the reason you find in this country में क्या प्रॉब्लम आ गया है. आप देखो, this country having casteism, communalism, regionalism, extremism, terrorism, insurgency, except nationalism. Nationalism छोड़ के सारा ism है. कितना अनफॉर्चुनेट है. और जब आप मिलते हैं ऐसे लोगों से, जर्मन से, जापानीज से, तो आपको लगता है ये दी जर्मन डिवास्टेटेड, डिवाइडेड, जी जापानीज डिवास्टेटेड बाय न्यूक्लियर बॉम्ब, एंड दी जर्मन एंड जापानीज टुडे आर स्टैंडिंग फर्म एंड ट्रांसफरिंग टेक्नोलॉजी टू इंडिया. And we got independence in 1947, where we are, where they are. That's the only secret. That is, they have sense of pride. वो एक नेशन फर्स्ट का फील है उनमें. आप में से कुछ लोग ऐसे होंगे who will having exposure of Germany, who will have real exposure of Japan. So this is what is called very important to understand. So in India, what you are, so Nehru's era, first we will be mentioning Nehru's era. Thereafter, I am letting you know once again, Nehru's era, that is from 2nd September 1946 to 27th May 1964. Including 3 interim period, 3 full-time period, election period, and what is referred as Nehru's era, in which एक बार सुन जाएंगे फिर हम लोग one by one सब कवर करेंगे. So Nehru's era is known for his contribution in term of constitution making, contribution in term of interim prime minister, contribution as integration of princely state. मेरे तो fingers भी उतना नहीं है जितना नेहरू का contribution है. Contribution in term of state reorganization, and thereafter, ideal of secularism, ideal of socialism, mixed economy, planning system in India, NDC formation in India, thereafter Mahalabis model in India, thereafter one by one, if you are going for cooperative movement in India, community development in India, advocacy program in India, Panchayati Raj in India, सांस उखड़ जाएगी लेकिन नेहरू का कंट्रीब्यूशन नहीं रुकेगा। जब आप वो लिखते हो ना तब आपको लगता है दैट टू यू फील लाइक, एंड प्रॉब्लम क्या है, तुम यंग लोग, यू यंगर पीपल वुड बी रियलाइजिंग इट एज सुन एज सपोज आई एम स्पीकिंग ऑन एनी पब्लिक प्लेटफॉर्म, it is question of Narendra Modi, Sardar Patel or Nehru or whosoever. They should be taken as leaders of our country. But people start thinking he seems to be from Congress. कोई बोलेगा पटेल के लिए बोलो, ओ लगता है थोड़ा बीजेपी का टिंच है। कहाँ से यार, आई एम प्रोफेशनल। It is question of knowing your leader. It's not question of which party they belong to. They are not identified by their party. They are identified by their own personality. So that should be there. So here, Nehru's era, and thereafter we would be taking socio-economic initiatives of Nehru. So first what you do, Nehru's era you first cover up, thereafter we will be first listing his contribution, then one by one we'll be picking up. So it is following, you better write this way, Nehru was Prime Minister, Nehru was Prime Minister 2nd September 1946, and he died, he write this way, and he died on 27th May 1964. Nehru was appointed Prime Minister on 2nd September 1946 and he died on 27th May 1964, which include 3 terms as interim Prime Minister, followed by 3 terms after Lok Sabha election, change the para, a span of 18 years, change the para, a span of 18 years from 1946 to 1964, a span of 18 years from 1946 to 1964 is referred as Nehru's era, and he is regarded as architect of newly independent India. He is regarded as architect of newly independent India. In terms of newly independent India, in terms of, and thereafter dash, and first to list out what terms of. In terms of point 1, leading interim government. In terms of, first you writing contribution, in terms of leading interim government and constitution making, Point 2, integrating princely states. Point 3, reorganizing states and making Federation of India. Reorganizing states and making Federation of India. Making Federation of India as task of, very important question UPSC, making Federation of India as task of nation building. Next point, he evolved ideal of secularism and socialism. Next point, point wise, he evolved ideal of secularism and socialism. Next point, mixed economy and planning system in India. Next one, mixed economy and planning system in India. Mixed economy and planning system in India. Planning system in India. Next point, he executed Mahalanobis model. I will explain, no worry. He executed Mahalanobis, Prashant Chandra Mahalanobis. He executed Mahalanobis model of economy. He executed Mahalanobis model of economy. Next point, he launched community development and cooperative movement. He launched community development and cooperative movement. Community development, cooperative movement, followed by Panchayati Raj system, followed by Panchayati Raj system, followed by Panchayati Raj system. Next point, he evolved atomic energy program for India. He evolved atomic energy. He evolved atomic energy program in India. He evolved atomic energy program in India, followed by first science policy of India. Followed by first science policy of India. Followed by first science policy of India. First science policy of India. And above all, change the para, above all, he is also regarded as founding father of India's foreign policy. He is also regarded as founding father of India's foreign policy. Founding father of India's foreign policy. India's foreign policy. Change the para, and again one line to write. So in terms of, change the para, so in terms of his contributions, so in terms of his contribution, he executed number of policies and provision. He executed number of policies and provisions. Number of policies and provision, along with committing certain mistakes. Along with committing certain mistakes. Certain mistakes which need to be corrected. Certain mistakes which need to be corrected by following prime ministers. Which need to be corrected by following prime minister since Nehru to Narendra Modi. Which need to be corrected by following prime minister from Nehru to Narendra Modi. From Nehru to Narendra Modi. Nehru to Narendra Modi. Now change para, one line shift right here. In terms of ideal of secularism, and now you hold here, it is like I have laid out a thali before you. Now, like kids, one by one spoon I am feeding you. First, I laid out thali, which says, थाली में क्या दिया आपको? थाली में दिया नेहरू's era, है ना? नेहरू's era in term of his contribution. थाली में रखा हुआ है. Nehru is known for making of constitution. One thing always, it was not only Nehru doing so. It is, whenever you refer Nehru, it does mean you are referring leadership of Nehru. Like World Cup 1983. हमेशा हम याद करते हैं कपिल देव को बिकॉज ही वॉज कैप्टन, बट इट्स ऑलवेज टीम वर्क. So likewise, whenever we refer Nehru, it does mean not individually Nehru, it is his government, his team, his vision that contributed. So आपकी थाली में मैंने रखा है, I have laid out in your thali, that is his contribution, making of constitution, interim government, integration of princely state, state organization, that we already discussed. Now we are going to discuss one by one what more he contributed. Accordingly, आप सब समझ रहे हैं till last two what is the point? That it is like we have discussed in detail regarding his role in interim government, his role in constitution making, his role in integration of princely states, his role in state reorganization. Now we are going for, thereafter we listed the topics कि ये contribution है नेहरू का, so that today I go back, but even then you have roadmap in front of you. That Nehru's contribution, these are of Nehru's era, and you are very clear when I will be picking you back in next session, you are very clear from which brick I will be starting. ना वो आपको पता रहेगा पहले से. I think you missed first session. You missed first. No problem. But I missed you in class. So it's a small batch I can recognize. Even a larger batch of 250, 300, if someone is getting absent, then I recognize. That is got turn of examination. But yes, if you have anything you missed because of being online, I would be available for you to complete that. Fine. So now let us start few lines, please. Starting from secular state. Again, let me clarify. It was not only Nehru. It was the Nehru as Prime Minister. Whole team. Let me one by one, please cooperate with me, because now we are heading towards turn of examination closer. So first it is secular state. Nehru favored secular state in India. Not Nehru means Nehru government. Favored because Nehru government means constitution making also led by Nehru, because Constituent Assembly was working as interim government as well as constitution making. So Nehru favored secular state in India. Firstly, what is secular? Firstly, why secular state? First question, why secular state? It was because, and why Pakistan emerged as Islamic state? Because Pakistan is based on Muslim League. Muslim League founded in 1906, and formation of Muslim League was exclusively based to safeguard the interest of Muslim, which they realized that during International Congress, interest of Muslim League is being sidelined. And because of that, they started working to safeguard their Muslim. And because of that, Jinnah was so firm that he was not accepting any Muslim out of Muslim League. Whenever it was representation of Muslim in any government or representation, Jinnah was insisting whether he is member of Muslim League. No, otherwise I don't recognize. He was pointing finger towards Maulana Abdul Kalam Azad. इन लोगों को मैं नहीं जानता, हसरत मोहानी को मैं नहीं जानता, because they are not member of Muslim League. That then you say, sir, he was very hardcore. देखो, ऐसे हम लोग को नहीं लिखना है. Hardcore, whosoever would be going for his own state would be hardcore. You are very hardcore to your goal. What is wrong in it? होता ही है ना, hardcore नहीं होगे. हम अगर hardcore professional नहीं होंगे, how will I be getting the kind of respect, recognition, commanding today? कैसे होगा वो? जब तक आप हार्डकोर नहीं हो. हार्डकोर मतलब होता है completely dedicated to your purpose, your goal. So I repeat, why India secular state? Because on one hand, Pakistan emerged as Islamic state. India preferred to be secular state because in Indian freedom movement, we have no reservation. In Indian freedom movement, all religion participated with all equal gravity. Sardar Udham Singh to Annie Besant to Nehru to Maulana Abdul Kalam Azad. So because of that, we prefer to be secular state. Now the question is, what is secularism? Secularism has two concepts in the world. Western world, Eastern world. Western concept of secularism says, I repeat, Western concept of secularism says, I am a state, all of you are religion. I am a state, you are all religion. I will have no concern with none of you as religion. Religion is totally your private practice. If you step out from the law, if you violate law while doing your religious practice, I will take firm action against you. That means no concern with any religion is Western concept of secularism. In India, equal concern. Our secularism means a state, of course, a state does not have any official religion. A state has official language, but no official religion. But Indian states say we have equal concern. And here comes communalism. Why comes? Because India preferred to be equally concerned, giving equal importance to all the community, because all community participated in freedom movement, but slighter sense of insecurity here and there that leads to, and that too vote bank politics lead to communalism in society. Let me make you understand this way. A day-to-day example देता हूँ, देखो थोड़ा समझ आ जाएगा. Suppose there are 2-3 members, two daughter, one son in family. In general, what parents claim? Parents claim, like secular, Indian secular state, all you three are equally important. ऐसे बोलते हैं ना हमेशा. Do you really think is it? क्या बात है? It is not. देखो इसका होता क्या है कि generally what happens, if the younger one has become IAS, the elder brother is assistant in secretariat, then father, in spite of claiming, mother, in spite of claiming, both of you are equal. Both of you are my like two eyes. But in reality, it is not. Everyone refers that IAS officer. This happens. Like, why to take others example? I lost my elder brother in 2020. I have 3 brothers. In 3 brothers, I stand middle, neither big nor small. Mother always claimed equal importance. All you 3 equal important. But I know there was no equal importance because elder brother was commanding respect of being elder. Fine. Younger brother was having love because of younger. Neither that respect nor that love. I was the person bringing vegetable for the family. है ना? शाम के समय आटा पिसवाना है ना? आप लोग तो पैकेट वाले हो ना. हमारे समय में क्या होता था? Wheat flour. We are going to flour mill. Thereafter taking back along with आटा. And that too in evening time, where it's time of making impression. हमारा भी तो कभी एज था ना. So time of making impression, evening time, उसमें आटा पिसा रहे, taking flour to it, and then mama and younger brother sitting by the side of mama, looking at me, smiling. Elder brother, ले आया, अरे. And then I do understand secularism very nicely. That so I feel connected because you realize might be some different kind of problem we may be having. So this is very common. So a state claims, and this is the reason that Western country has no such controversy, because Western states say, I have no concern. We have no concern. State has no concern. Then you ask one question, your younger mind is, sir, why not we prefer to have Western consent? No concern? No, it is because of the fact our secularism was based on our freedom movement. And in freedom movement, all fought together. Because of that, we showed equal concern, and that led to slighter insecurity in any community, slighter. And that is because of vote bank also. And I can't say further because we are preparing for civil services. All of you know क्या vote bank politics होता है. आपको भी हर्ट करता है, मुझे भी हर्ट करता है, हर किसी को हर्ट करता है, क्योंकि we really at one point of time it was like that we had been not knowledge of which festival belong to whom. हम चाहे दिवाली हो, चाहे ईद बकरीद हो, चाहे क्रिसमस हो, क्रिसमस का भी 15 days है और पूरा बैंगलोर झूम रहा है. Never ever identified which religion belongs to what festival. अभी देखो क्या तमाशे हो गए. किसी फेस्टिवल में आप छुट्टी नहीं दे रहे हो. Deliberately you are pointing out that this festival you won't have any holiday. This gives you pain. Ki this is diversity with unity. This country has unique culture of sitting together, working together, and you are making why to blame divide and rule of British period? You are doing the same thing. This is not the way to maintain unity, integrity of the country. But anyhow, I am nobody, I am no authority, but yes, as sensible citizen, I will, whenever I will get opportunity, I am getting opportunity, I am opposing it strongly. कि इससे आपका पर्पस सर्व नहीं हो सकता है, आप चाहे जो कर लो. ये पर्पस सर्व नहीं कर सकता. On the contrary, and then you are asking for promoting nationalism. On what ground you are promoting nationalism? Nation कहाँ से? Nation दीवार थोड़ी है. It's not river, mountains, soil or crops. They are nation. Nation comes from mindset. That is mental evolution. All these lines, what I spoke, in spite of having so much constraint of time, but all these lines are number of times I am giving you certain lines to have put into essay. Essay आपका ना एकदम lively body जैसा होना चाहिए. It should not smell like dead body. It's just mechanical essay it is. And I got to know about your batch when I was here. An award was given to you people. And thereafter I was discussing, I had gone through essay article which you have written. I was so happy to see. Then I was asking Mr. Srikanth, they are beginners? Yes. I said, I asked them that first you develop general studies properly, thereafter you go for content writing of essay. That is very right. But yes, the kind of potential you have, I'm really very proud addressing you people, that the kind of potential you have, you keep developing content and simultaneously you keep structuring essay, because in movie, a script is written first, they are followed by dialogue. आप तो इतना सब जानते हैं ना कि मूवी में सबसे पहले स्क्रिप्ट लिखते हैं एंड देयर आफ्टर डायलॉग लिखते हैं. तो आप भी क्या करो, स्क्रिप्ट ऑफ आंसरिंग हमेशा क्या करो ऐसे, एंड देयर आफ्टर फॉलोड बाय डायलॉग राइटिंग. सो लाइक दैट Nehru, it was ideal of secularism. Now just one more minute. It was why secular country? I explained. What types of secularism? I explained. Why India preferred to have equal concern? I explained. Then last question comes in mind. That last mind, UPSC. Why secularism was included in 1976 by 42nd Constitutional Amendment in Preamble of Constitution? Why not? I repeat this line. Secularism was so important. Why Nehru himself did not include ideal of secularism in Constitution? Answer you will have answered. Nehru wanted to avoid direct head-on confrontation between India and Pakistan on the ground of ideal. Because Pakistan was going for Islamic state, India preferred to be secular state. That was more than enough to say, no need to put into preamble of constitution. And second very strong reason you will put that in 1973, you will study polity governance. In 1973, in Keshwananda Bharati case, Supreme Court of India recognized preamble as legal part of constitution. When preamble was recognized as legal part of constitution, then only Indira Gandhi in 1976 thought of that when it is legal part of constitution, then put those ideals which should be enforced legally also. And accordingly, ideal of secularism and ideal of socialism got included in preamble of Indian constitution since 1976 42nd Amendment to put legal force behind. Fine. And you may have just abhi to session or mera hona hai, some more session we'll be having. I would like to share with you, you may have realized in 2 days itself that India since independence is not confined to like this or that part. It is covering society, culture, politics, administration, each and everything up to foreign policy, aerial view. You would be having foreign policy, international relation by other faculty, of course, that is, you would get to know. But simultaneously, I would be also touching foreign policy, international relations in aerial view under different prime ministers of India. That how Indira Gandhi operated, how Morarji operated, how Rajiv Gandhi operated, till Narendra Modi. So this is secularism, and thereafter, first I explain secularism, thereafter I will explain you socialism. First you write on it, change the para. You have written in terms of ideal of secularism. That was the point, change the para. India emerged as secular state. Change the para. India emerged as secular state. India emerged as secular state on the ground that all religions, that people of all religion participated in freedom movement, that people of all religion participated in freedom movement, So it is duty of a state. So it is duty of a state in independent India. duty of a state in independent India to provide equal importance, duty of a state in independent India to provide equal importance to all the religion, to provide equal importance to all the religion, change the para. However, this ideal was not included. However, this ideal was not included in preamble. This ideal was not included in preamble, during making of Constitution. During making of Constitution, but it was included in 1976. It was included in 1976 by 42nd Constitutional Amendment. It was included in 1976 by 42nd Constitutional Amendment. 42nd Constitutional Amendment. 42nd Constitutional Amendment after Supreme Court decision. After Supreme Court decision in 1973. After Supreme Court decision in 1973, in bracket you write Keshwananda Bharati case. 1973 in bracket Keshwananda Bharati case, bracket close. Bracket Keshwananda Bharati case, bracket close. Once, change the para. Once Supreme Court recognized preamble, change the para. Once Supreme Court recognized preamble as legal part of Constitution. When Supreme Court recognized preamble as legal part of Constitution, then ideal of secularism, important question of UPSC, then ideal of secularism got legal force. Then ideal of secularism got legal force. Even then, change the para, even then, it is vote bank politics. Even then, it is vote bank politics that dilutes concept of secularism. It is vote bank politics that dilutes ideal of secularism. Vote bank politics that dilutes ideal of secularism and leads towards communalism. Leads toward communalism in Indian society. Leads towards communalism in Indian society. Communalism in Indian society. Change the para, 1 line. Secularism has two concepts in the world. Secularism has two concepts in the world. Two concepts in the world in which Eastern countries, in which Eastern world recognizes secularism. Eastern world recognizes secularism by giving equal importance and concern. By giving equal importance and concern to all religion. By giving equal importance and concern to all religion. Change the para. Western world, you write this way. In Western world, state is not at all. In Western world, state is not at all concerned with religion. In Western world, state is not at all concerned with religion. So state does not provide So state does not provide any types of facility, does not provide any type of facility. State does not provide, take care of the line please. The state does not provide any types of facility in religious practices. The state does not provide any type of facilities in religious practices. Unlike Eastern countries like India, unlike Eastern country like India, just a minute please. Could you get this line please? This line say, आप लोग जैसे ये लिख रहे हैं ना, majority of you, I think so, you may have thought, in India, don't you see on the eve of Holi, Diwali, Dashera, Eid, Bakrid, the government is taking care of you. Government is making arrangement for Hajj. Government is making arrangement for Kumbh. देखो यहाँ हज का अलग से टर्मिनल है. Had it been Western world, स्टेट आपको ऐसा कुछ नहीं देगा. स्टेट बोलेगा हज जाना है, इट इज योर प्राइवेट प्रैक्टिस, गो एंड डू ऑन योर ओन. Here in India, we have equal concern that whether you are going for Hajj or going for Kumbh or going for Baisakhi or going for Christmas, you have holidays, you have some practices that too deployed, security forces deployed so that there should not be any sort of uncomfort. This is not only to avoid violence, it is to provide you some sort of relief, some sort of protection also. तो देखिए ये जो वेस्टर्न वर्ल्ड है, here state has equal concern taking care of all the religion. But in Western world, whatever is your religious practice, that is your totally private practice. The state has nothing to do with it. However, if you ever try to violate the law, the state will interfere and punish you the way they are punished in India. The basic difference is they have no concern, we have equal concern. But similarity is, once again, for your comfort, for my satisfaction. Difference is they have no concern, Eastern world has equal concern. And similarity is that here also is punishment and there also is punishment if you violate law under cover of religion. यहाँ भी लाउड स्पीकर उतार दिया. जैसे अभी ये तो स्टेट भी क्या होता है, पार्टी पॉलिटिक्स, व्हाट इज कॉल्ड पार्टी पॉलिटिक्स. लाउड स्पीकर किसी को अलाउड नहीं होना चाहिए, ना सिख, ना क्रिश्चियन, ना हिंदू, मुस्लिम. Because Supreme Court of India delivered historic verdict by saying religion is 1,000-year-old, loudspeaker is not 1,000-year-old. How are you correlating loudspeaker with religion? आप चाहे ये जागरण कर रहे हैं या आप रमजान कर रहे हैं या आप कुछ भी कर रहे हैं, आजान पढ़ रहे हैं, आपने लाउड स्पीकर को कैसे रिलेट कर दिया रिलीजन से? रिलीजन इज 1,000-year-old, लाउड स्पीकर हैज नथिंग टू डू विद इट. लाउड स्पीकर हटाइए if it is disturbing public, that is it. So, but ultimately it's vote bank politics. Somewhere it is not, somewhere it is. That will never happen in Western world. वहाँ ये नहीं होने देते हैं. So this is the basic difference. And now, apart from, now 5 minutes I need, because now we are in different conceptual area. Nehru promoted socialism. Your syllabus says that you should be clear about socialism, कैपिटलिज्म, कम्युनिज्म, नॉट कम्युनलिज्म, कम्युनिज्म. आप लोग के सिलेबस पे, इसलिए मैंने रिक्वेस्ट आपको किया. इफ यू डू दैट इट वुड बी योर इंटरेस्ट. तो आई रिपीट, सोशलिज्म, फर्स्ट लेट मी टेल यू what is socialism, what is communism, what is capitalism in simplest possible way, because that is already prescribed. And once again, I request you, if you get right now, it would be very nice, or else you will be struggling to get it properly. When all sources of production and distribution, which means, I repeat, when all the resources are under complete ownership of state, then it is communism. No private ownership. When all the resources of production, distribution, whatever it is in the country is owned by a state, no private ownership, it is communism. But when all the resources, production, distribution owned by market, then it is capitalism. If a state communism, extreme is capitalism. If all resources owned by a state, I'm not saying controlled by a state. Owned and controlled are two different terms. Please try to understand properly. For example, I am not sure, but yes, I think so. Mr. Shrikant has purchased this building, entire building from top to bottom. That means Mr. Shrikant is not only owning this property, but controlling this property also. But suppose it is rented. In that case, Mr. Shrikant is controlling the property, but not owning the property. So how will you explain communism and capitalism? Communism is one, capitalism another. Communism means all the resources owned by, and when it is owned by, then you say, sir, it is then controlled by also a state. No, owned by a state, in majority cases controlled by a state, but in some cases controlled by a private party also. For example, suppose a state building. Suppose you are joint secretary here in secretariat. God's sake, you would be after some years. That means your chamber, you are controlling who will come, who will go. But the building is owned by a state. That means the building is owned by a state. You are not owner, but you are controller of your chamber. So in communism, both things you keep in mind, owned by a state and controlled by a state. It may be owned by a state or controlled by even private party, but ownership will never be to private party. Ownership will always be with the state. Got the point? This is communism. Capitalism does mean all the resources owned by, controlled by market. That is capitalism. And between the two is socialism. In socialism, what happens? It may be owned by a state, owned by a private party also. For example, Osmania University owned by a state. Coaching Institute, Tambarab Coaching Institute now running under government, owned by a state. And you are sitting in private coaching institute, owned by market. So in socialism, there is coexistence of state ownership as well as market ownership, private ownership. This is the reason, once again, to make you understand, socialism is blend of, hybrid of capitalism and communism. Hybrid hai dono ka. It may have, like you see, so Arne, all of you are, I think so, all of you passed out from government institution. Suppose you become graduate. Now you are sitting in private institution and preparing again for the government. What irony is that you came from the government, keen to join government, but sitting in private. This is allowed in socialism. So socialism says that there would be state owned and controlled, there would be private owned and controlled. Because of that, socialism allows mixed economy. But in mixed economy, what it is? That means coexistence of public and private sector. But 2 minutes, ध्यान से सुन जाओ, देखो, mixed economy, public and private sector, that means socialism is blend of communism and capitalism. It is mixed economy. Mixed economy can never be 50-50. So 50% private, 50%, ऐसा तो नहीं होगा ना. Sometime government से public sector will be leading, sometime private sector will be leading. So during Nehru, from Nehru promoted coexistence, mixed economy, in which Nehru promoted which? State or market? State. Very nice. Nehru promoted state control. Because of that, it is process of nationalization. I repeat, Nehru promoted state. It is process of nationalization. By process of nationalization, mines, insurance, bank, all got nationalized. But when a state nationalizes majority area, then a state, getting the point? When a state nationalized majority area, a state was not able to control majority area, then a state started losing grip. As a result, Narasimha Rao era, I will be studying economic ground, then the state which was playing lead role by process of nationalization, that state started getting back, rolling back, and started giving place for private sector. And today, state has minimum role to play and market has maximum role to play. So this is the change. That means either way it is socialism. Socialism is either way. Either way it is socialism. The only difference is Nehru to VP Singh. That means from 1950 to 1990, state was playing lead role. That is called Nehruvian socialism. I repeat, इसलिए मैं आपको होल्ड किया हुआ अच्छे से समझो. That is called Nehruvian socialism. That is also called democratic socialism. And after Narasimha Rao, from Narasimha Rao, then state started rolling back and market started taking lead by a process of privatization. That is called Gandhian socialism. Majority of you are sincere, may be under shock. Abhi ek minute और सुनो, otherwise you would say it is called Gandhian socialism and private party leading. Does it mean Gandhi was supporter of privatization? Does it mean Gandhi was capitalist? 50 क्वेश्चन आएगा. इससे मेरा भी तो सांस चले दो ना वैसे, so that let me respire, so that I'd be one by one I'd be clarifying. But I feel very nice of candidates when they are very quick. Hurry. It shows that yes, you are so activated that yes, you are ready to learn. How is it? So once again, hold for few seconds. Mixed economy, state and marketplace coexistence, but it can never be 50-50. 50-50 कुछ होता ही नहीं है, except biscuit. कुछ नहीं होता है. So I repeat, and जैसे लोग बोलते हैं, husband wife को बोलते हैं, better half. अभी पता नहीं चलेगा. After 5 years, I will ask you, is it 50-50? Then you will realize what is. It is like leading husband when he is out of house, like right now I am. It is like playing lead role outside. That is like state playing lead role. And as soon as got back to Delhi, closer to home, entered home, the state started rolling back and giving maximum role to market players. So that is like outside home, it is Gandhian socialism. Inside home, it is, I'm sorry, outside home, it is Nehruvian socialism. Inside home, it is Gandhian socialism. How is it? Let me first explain you. Nehru to up to Narasimha Rao, up to VP Singh, state was playing maximum role and taking maximum area by nationalization. That is called democratic socialism. That is called Nehruvian socialism. After Narasimha, along with Narasimha Rao, state started rolling back, giving maximum area to private party by lead of privatization. That is called Gandhian socialism. That is called socialist democracy. Then now question, that is the question I am holding you. Gandhi was supporter of privatization, yes. How then Gandhi? Is it not Gandhi capitalist? No. How can sir? Sir, abhi dekhiye kaise? Gandhi supported privatization in form of trusteeship. What is trusteeship? For example, for a layman, Mukesh Ambani is capitalist. लेकिन जो थोड़ा पढ़ लिया जा, आप जैसे हैं, मैं जैसे हूं, तो for Mukesh Ambani, for us, he is high class socialist because he is holding maximum shareholders. He is not individual owner. I think all of you must be. Reliance is not under individual ownership. Reliance is under collective ownership, and collective ownership Gandhi referred as trusteeship. So that means privatization, had Gandhi supported individual ownership, then it is capitalism. Gandhi supported collective ownership, that he called it trusteeship. So in spite of promoting privatization, Gandhi is not capitalist, Gandhi is socialist. Got to get it? Once again, state playing lead role, for my side, state playing lead role, that is by the process of nationalization, that is Nehruvian socialism, that is democratic socialism. After, when a state started rolling back and market started leading by a process of privatization, that is Gandhian socialism, that is socialist democracy. And even then, Gandhi, despite of supporting privatization, Gandhi is never capitalist because Gandhi supported privatization not in terms of individual ownership. Gandhi supported collective ownership, which he referred as trusteeship. Even today, majority company operating in India, they are for layman, they are capitalist, but technical term, they all are socialist because they are having maximum number of ownership through shareholding. Gandhi never used word shareholding, so we have to understand that collective ownership. That means Gandhi supported privatization in terms of collective ownership, not in terms of individual ownership. So Nehruvian socialism called democratic socialism, Gandhian socialism called socialist democracy. Got it? Point out. Change the para. Similarly, you write here similarly, capitalism, similarly, you write this way, please. Similarly, communism, capitalism, similarly, communism, capitalism, and socialism have different ways and means. Communism, capitalism, and socialism have different ways and means. Different ways and means in which, and thereafter one by one we'll point out. In which, point one, communism stands for state ownership. Communism stands for state ownership over all the areas. Communism stands for state ownership over all the areas of production and distribution. State ownership over all the areas of production and distribution. Over all the areas of production and distribution. Next point, capitalism is just opposite. Capitalism is just opposite, where all the resources are owned by market. Where all the resources are owned by market. Next point, socialism is combination of communism and capitalism. Socialism is combination of communism and capitalism, in which state ownership along with private ownership keep working. State ownership along with private ownership keep working, leading to mixed economy. It means coexistence of public and private sector. Leading to mixed economy, it means coexistence of public and private sector. But it can never be 50-50. Never be 50-50. Change the para. So, India, since independence, this is again UPSC, very important question. So, India, since independence, has two phases. Before economic reforms and after economic reforms. Before economic reforms 1991 and after economic reforms 1991. Before economic reforms 1991, after economic reforms 1991, change the para. In former case, state was playing lead role. In former case, a state was playing lead role by the process of nationalization. the state was playing lead role by the process of nationalization, and by the process of nationalization, which is referred as Nehruvian socialism, or democratic socialism. Very important question. Which is referred as Nehruvian socialism or democratic socialism. Change the para. After economic reform, state started rolling back. This is also rolling back is question of UPSC. After economic reform, state started rolling back by giving lead role to private players. State started rolling back by giving lead role to market players, lead role to private players by the process of privatization, lead role to private players by the process of privatization. It is referred as Gandhian socialism. And socialist democracy. Change the para. Gandhi is a very important para for you again. Gandhi, in spite of supporting, change the para. Gandhi, in spite of supporting private players, Gandhi, in spite of supporting privatization, was never a capitalist. Gandhi, in spite of supporting privatization, was never a capitalist. He was socialist. Take care of the paragraph. He was socialist because he was supporting collective ownership under privatization. Collective ownership under privatization. He called trusteeship. And today, majority of industrial houses, he called trusteeship, and today majority of industrial houses are based on, take care of the line, today majority of industrial houses are based on collective ownership. By maximum shareholding. So change the para. So altogether, India before economic reform had Nehruvian socialism. And after reform, it is leading towards Gandhian socialism. Change the para. So, ideal of socialism. Change the para. So, ideal of socialism was also included in preamble. By 42nd Constitutional Amendment 1976. also included in preamble by 42nd Constitutional Amendment 1976, after legal status of preamble, so that socialism could be enforced, after legal status of preamble, so that socialism could be enforced in legal terms, so that socialism could be enforced in legal terms. Change the para. Nehru's era is also known for planning system. Nehru's era is also known for evolving planning system. And Mahalanobis model of economy. Planning system and Mahalanobis model of economy. Mahalanobis model of economy, and here just you put dash line and hold for 1-2 minutes just. So once again, please take care of, क्योंकि एक बात हमेशा याद रखना. Gandhi, I'm not going to that detail, but I would like to remind all of you, Gandhi एक quote बोलते थे हमेशा. Gandhi would say, that state is best which governs the least. फिर से बोलता हूँ. That state is best which governs the least. What does it mean? It does mean a state would be able to maintain its quality if it operates in minimum area. For example, if a doctor is sitting and saying, I am eye specialist as well as skin specialist as well as ENT as well as cardiothoracic surgeon, आप दिखाओगे उस डॉक्टर को? दिखाने की जरूरत ही नहीं है, पहले ही फाइनल हो जाएगा. So naturally you will doubt the integrity of doctor, that means he would not be able to maintain the quality. So if a state operates in maximum area, Gandhi would say, the state will lose quality in product and services. So only that state would be able to ensure quality in product and services which governs the list. So that state is best which governs the list. That was Gandhi supporting. Because of that, before economic reform in India, Nehru supported. Then don't think, Nehru बेवकूफ थे क्या? Was Nehru that fool that he was maximizing role of state? It is not a question of fool or foolish or scholarly. It's a question of Nehru was having that thought that a state operates in maximum area, a state will ensure justice. Getting the point? Don't you think earlier, our times में ऐसा कोई कोचिंग वोचिंग नहीं होता था? All the institutions, government institution, hardly private schools. Private schools सुन के हम लोग रुक के देखते थे, अच्छा ये private school है. Government schools, government university, government institution, this was a trend. That means the state was of coal mines, bank, insurance, all got nationalized. And people were literally jumping over a street when their, suppose organization got nationalized, state control. So state was taking control of maximum area in order to ensure justice to people. But a state failed to maintain that justice. Why so? Because the state took over areas beyond their capacity. Let me make you by a simple example. देखो एक simple example देता हूँ. Suppose somebody is hungry. You are standing there. He said, भैया, okay, भैया इनको दे दो. 2 more people came to. भैया इनको भी दे दो. 2 more people came in. भैया इनको भी दे दो. Now you are trying to ensure social justice, that all should get equal opportunity. Why discrimination? And thereafter, you took out your wallet. Nothing. Thereafter, the same person would be acting as IMF and World Bank will be asking you to wash utensils because you have spent more than your capacity. So what happened in India? India में भी ऐसे ही हुआ. India ने क्या किया? State जो था, state was literally taking over maximum area. As a result, the state failed to maintain that quality in product and services, and by 90, within 40 years, the state realized not possible. Coincidentally, a new prime minister came with new challenges, Narasimha Rao. He is forgotten hero in India. We will discuss, but we would not be writing forgotten hero because of the fact it become controversial. We are writing for civil services. But yes, Narasimha Rao changed the table. He said, if a state has to survive, a state has to come back. What is called rollback of a state, leaving maximum area for a private player. And private player, then you say, don't you think that Narasimha Rao left people at the mercy of private player? No, sir, not at all. Why so? Because there are so many private players operating, they would be competing against each other. Don't you think the kind of hard work I am putting, it looks like I am so dedicated and committed, but at the same time, don't you think it is the survival of the fittest also? आज जो मैं recognition है हमारा, if I want to continue with this recognition till my last breath, I have to work like it because I am known for it. एक मामूली सा चेंज अगर मैं कर दूं कि मैं लैपटॉप लेके आना शुरू करूं, that will undermine thereafter because an image developed indicates he is like that, he is like that. So likewise, when you have to, it is question of that had only East India Company exploited, but had East India Company, West India, North India, South India, Central India, all company would have come to India, no exploitation because they would have been competing against each other. Getting the point? So this was concept of Nehru, and it would be your honesty completely in class. How are you working over the class session? My concern, because all of us are God-loving people, not God-fearing. When I am doing justice in my job, then I get back with tremendous energy. Yes, waiting for my flight and waiting for the next lecture tomorrow. Next कल ये करना है. तो क्या होता है when you do your job, like as I told you, setting roadmap, thereafter doing within time frame. So that way you, whatever concept it is, has to be crystal clear. What is capitalism? Market control. What is communism? State control. What is socialism? Blend of two. In blend of two, when a state is leading, that is nationalization. When market leading, that is privatization. When a state leading, that is Nehruvian socialism. When market leading, that is Gandhian socialism. And Gandhi even then is not capitalist because Gandhi supported not individual ownership, Gandhi always supported collective ownership. Now, apart from this, thereafter, Nehru is known for planning system. All of you needs planning. India also, any country also needs planning. All of us need planning. हम सब के पास अगर plan नहीं है, तो life miserable होगा. So we have a plan. Nehru thought as Prime Minister, India need planning because India has public and private sector together. And how to set role of public sector and private sector. How to avoid conflict between market and state. It needs planning. Because of that, Nehru established Planning Commission in 1950. And to have a representation of state in planning, that was National Development Council in 1952. Are you getting the point? I repeat, Planning Commission was established in 1950. NDC was established in 1952 to ensure representation of union and state together in planning system, so that there should be all-round development. But gradually what happened, please try to understand it. What went wrong that we are having now Niti Aayog? हुआ क्या कि gradually in one party dominance in India, majority of chief minister belonging to same political party, I repeat, in one party dominance in India during Nehru, during Indira Gandhi, during Rajiv Gandhi, during Narendra Modi, what happened? Chief minister of same political party, they are loyal to the party. They are not that much loyal to the regional problem. They, instead of raising regional problem, getting the point? एक बात बताओ, KCR not attending नीति आयोग, कोई पर्सनल नहीं है नरेंद्र मोदी से. What he feels like, and he thinks that whatever problem he is presenting there, they are not being addressed. Why to attend Niti Aayog? But those who are from BJP chief ministers, they attend Niti Aayog. They hardly raise any regional issue to be in the good book of Prime Minister. As a result, what happened? It happened not only this era, every time it happened in India. As a result, what happened? When regional problem was not represented in planning system, regional problems gave rise to regional party. रीजनल पार्टी भी देखो, थोड़ा भी आपका कंसंट्रेशन होगा तो लिंक आपका नहीं बनेगा. यू वोंट बी एबल टू मेक लिंक. वंस अगेन, regional problem could not be. That is political hijacking of planning system in India. That was UPSC question. So in planning in India, chief ministers were supposed to raise the regional problem to planning system. However, majority of chief ministers of same political party preferred to have party loyalty than raising regional problem. As a result, regional problems left behind. Based on regional problem, regional party came up. Regional party gave to multi-party in India. Multi-party gave to coalition politics in India. And coalition politics in India gave to unstable government. Unstable government gave to midterm election. And midterm election gave to frequent change in policy. Frequent change in policy, policy failure, what is called policy paralysis. ऐसे लिंक करने लगोगे ना, एक शॉट में निकलता है. 70 रैंक, 75 रैंक ऐसे निकाल दोगे और खुद को सरप्राइज होगा. कमाल की बात होगी कि यू आर ऑनेस्ट, यू वुड बी, व्हेन योर क्लोज वन आस्किंग यू कि कुड यू मेक आउट, ओनली थिंग यू विल हैव दैट फीलिंग, भीतर से खूब खुश खुश रहोगे जैसे रहती हो, गॉड ब्लेस, खूब खुश खुश रहोगे और हमेशा लगेगा क्या पूछोगे. आई एम नॉट एनसाइक्लोपीडिया, बट क्या पूछोगे, वॉट एवर यू विल आस्किंग आई बी इंटरलिंकिंग, एकदम प्रॉपर लिंक करके आप लिख देते हो. Even single line taken out, entire answer will collapse. Brick by brick you are writing. और देखोगे ऐसे लड़के लोग देखोगे वो बोलेंगे अरे यार अभी ग्रेजुएशन था 2 साल पहले, देखा एक अटेम्प्ट में कैसे निकाला, कैसे, कोई मैजिक थोड़ी है. दिस इज सिंपली व्हाट इज कॉल्ड, फर्स्ट चीज कमिटमेंट, पैशन, इंटरलिंकिंग. देखो कितना लिंक हो जाता है. प्लानिंग सिस्टम टू पॉलिटिक्स हो जाता है. व्हाट इज यूपीएससी क्वेश्चन, प्लानिंग. So NDC, Planning Commission form for center, NDC form for state, but in NDC, majority chief ministers prefer what? Party loyalty. They did not raise regional problem. Regional problem got sidelined in India. Regional problem gave rise to regional party to multi-party, multi-party to coalition politics to unstable government to change of policy, change of leader. Change of policy leader means policy failure is called policy paralysis. And because of that, we don't have trust in policy in India. आप फार्मर को जाके बोलो, अगर बाबा फार्मर है, बोलो बाबा यू नो गवर्नमेंट हैज अनाउंस एग्रीकल्चर पॉलिसी, बोलेगा शट अप. क्यों बाबा, ऐसा बनता रहता है. फॉर प्रिपरेशन यू कीप प्रिपेयरिंग एग्रीकल्चर पॉलिसी, डोंट टेल मी एग्रीकल्चर पॉलिसी. क्यों इतना नाराज है वो, रीजन क्या है, पॉलिसी से. आप ही बताओ, अगर टीचर से पूछो इस कंट्री में व्हाट इज एजुकेशन पॉलिसी, वो खुद ही नहीं पता उसको. लेबर लोड साइज जा रहा है सब. लेबर पॉलिसी जानते हो, फॉर यू पीपल देयर इज अ लेबर पॉलिसी. लेबर पॉलिसी किसका पॉलिसी नहीं, पॉलिसी. कोई इंटरेस्ट नहीं. क्यों इंटरेस्ट नहीं है, बिकॉज नो ट्रस्ट इन पॉलिसी. व्हाट इज कॉल्ड पॉलिसी पैरालिसिस. पॉलिसीज आर देयर, पॉलिसीज आर देयर. अगर आप एक मिनिस्टर को बोल दो आज कितना स्कीम है, बिना देखे बोलो तो उज्ज्वला इतना बना के रख दिया, एक स्कीम से कवर करो ना, इतना ओवरलैपिंग क्यों करते हो. एंड एज ए रिजल्ट एक होगा क्या, मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ इरिगेशन, दूसरा होगा मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ वाटर रिसोर्सेज. तो आप कहते हैं दूध से इरिगेशन होता है क्या, अरे वाटर रिसोर्सेज से नहीं होगा तो वाटर रिसोर्सेज अलग क्यों बना के रखते हो. मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ वाटर रिसोर्सेज. अनदर इज मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ रिवर वाटर सिस्टम. तो वाटर और कहां से ला रहे हो, ओवरलैपिंग. एज ए रिजल्ट हु इज फेल्योर, नोबडी कैन फिक्स. That is, and as a result, one thing I tell you, India's independence you are studying, it is not confined to paper 1. Lots of question, जो मैंने question कराया ना, वो question paper 1 का नहीं है. Some question will be coming from paper 2, polity governance. Some question will be coming from paper 3, from economy, as economic reform to post-economic reform. That way, after covering Narasimha Rao, thereafter you will think of, my God, this part of general studies covers almost every part of general studies, provided you study that way. So I repeat, this is Nehru's planning system, that planning system. So planning, now the UPSC, देखो कितना अच्छा क्वेश्चन है, you can answer very easily. Planning is basically economic activity, but in India, gradually it has become political activity. Discuss with references. Now you got it, what it is. So, and as a result, because of this failure, Narendra Modi government in 2015 developed Niti Aayog. Earlier Planning Commission NDC was Soviet model. This Niti Aayog on which model? Chinese model. We are fighting every day with China, but coincidentally we are having Chinese model of planning. तो अपने क्यों Chinese model? याद करो previous session. One can learn technique of sharpening knife from a killer also, but knife could be used in defense. अगर उनका प्लानिंग सिस्टम बहुत अच्छा है तो उनसे सीखते हैं. लेकिन चाइना में क्या है? चाइना यूनिटरी सिस्टम है, हमारा फेडरल सिस्टम है. बिकॉज ऑफ दैट हियर चीफ मिनिस्टर कम एंड डोंट कम, प्राइम मिनिस्टर कैन नॉट से इसको बांध के ले आओ. बट इन चाइना यूनिटरी सिस्टम, द डेमोक्रेटिक डिक्टेटरशिप प्रियम्बल बोलता है उनका, डेमोक्रेटिक डिक्टेटरशिप. क्या इंटरेस्टिंग है. तो आप अगर जिपिंग से पूछोगे सर ये क्या है डेमोक्रेटिक डिक्टेटरशिप, तो जिपिंग वुड से before taking decision we are democrats, we hear everyone, once we decide we are dictators. बात तो अच्छी है. और ये सीक्रेट है चाइना का कि पॉलिसी डिसीजन के पहले वो सबको सुनेंगे, पॉलिसी बन गई तो कुछ नहीं सुनेंगे. हमारे यहाँ बना लिए प्रॉब्लम. हम लोग वी आर नॉट कंडेमिंग आवर कंट्री. हम लोग क्या कर, फार्म बिल, फार्म एक्ट, एग्रीकल्चर बना दिया, उसका फार्मर नो 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 नो, यस 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 यस, ढक 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 पीटे, मारा मारी कर लिया कुछ समय, 1 साल करके मारा मारी, फिर नहीं चाहिए छोड़ दो, रख दो भाई. अरे तो 1 साल आपने ये क्या किया तमाशा, मारपीट क्यों कराया आपने, जब आपको समझ इट वॉज नॉट इन द इंटरेस्ट ऑफ फार्मर. इसको समझने में आपको 1 साल लग गया. लेकिन क्या करें, मैं आप we are sensible citizen, but we are getting ventilated by speaking to each other. देखो हो सकता है कोई अपॉर्चुनिटी आ रहा है आजकल बहुत तेजी से. इफ आई गेट एनी अपॉर्चुनिटी तो मैं इसको रेस जरूर करूंगा. एक तो रेस मैं फिर करूंगा, दैट आई एम गोइंग टू रेस कि व्हाई एजुकेशन रिफॉर्म इज नॉट बीइंग कैरिड आउट द वे competitive examinations are being reformed. Civil service reform is taking place after every 2-3 years. Education reform not being made that way. Why are you not opening a Department of General Studies in every University of India, at least in few University of India? And then you are prescribing General Studies in every competitive examination. Where they will be studying? Private institute? So why are you pushing them to private institute? Are you going to pay them? नहीं. तो आप जनरल स्टडी डिपार्टमेंट क्यों नहीं, आप आउटसोर्स कर रहे हैं प्राइवेट इंस्टीट्यूट का. आई एम पार्ट ऑफ द सिस्टम, आई एम सेइंग सो. इट्स अ क्वेश्चन ऑफ यू आर आउटसोर्सिंग प्राइवेट इंस्टीट्यूशन. और टू बी वेरी है, मुझे मेरे जैसे को मुझे बुलाते भी हैं गवर्नमेंट इंस्टीट्यूशन में फॉर जनरल स्टडी, में नहीं जाता. टाइम खराब होता है क्योंकि दे आर टेकिंग इट ग्रांटेड. सबको स्कॉलरशिप देके बैठा देते हैं, वेदर दे आर क्वालिफाइंग नॉट क्वालिफाइंग गेटिंग स्कॉलरशिप. दे आर नॉट दैट सिंसियर इन क्लास. वो बोलते थे थैंक यू सो मच, आप बुला लो किसी और को, मैं नहीं आ सकता, मेरा टाइम प्रेशियस है, आई वुड लाइक टू हैव रिजल्ट ओरिएंटेड बैच. और एल्स हु शुड बी अटेंडिंग द सेशन, लेट मी रिक्रूट, मुझे सेलेक्ट करने दो. तो वहां तो आप लेटर लेके चले आते हो, वो मिनिस्टर वो एमपी उसका लेकर के आप रिक्रूटमेंट ले लिया, सिलेक्शन ले लिया. तो ये तो नहीं चलेगा. और आप डिक्टेट कर नहीं सकते हो बिकॉज आई एम नॉट योर एम्प्लॉय. दिस बट यस द सिस्टम इज फ्लॉ. System is flawed. So that is the reason Planning Commission was changed to Niti Aayog, centralized, no Planning Commission, no NDC, one centralized commission, that is Niti Aayog. But Niti Aayog also started facing politics, no need to say further. What is politics? Latest meeting of Niti Aayog, hardly 8 or 9 chief ministers attended, remaining boycotted. Up socho, when you are boycotting the meeting itself, there is no point of having consensus in policy. This is what is called political hijacking of planning system, and for that reason, if you are blaming Nehru, don't you think it is, if you don't know how to drive BMW car and you are driving and making an accident, thereafter you are blaming BMW company, what is wrong? अरे आपको चलाने नहीं आता है तो आप BMW कंपनी को क्यों बोल रहे हो? तो Nehruvian model, after Nehru, when you are misleading, naturally you can't blame for that reason founding fathers. You have to correct them. This is the whole point. And once again, I'll let you clarify. I am taking the session in a way so that it should be not only confined to paper 1, paper 2, paper 3 also. Plus, you should be having certain material, certain thought process for writing an essay also. Because of that, I am taking you to 7 colors, even sometime ultraviolet, infrared also, getting back to 7 color, coming to mean. Point out, please. Change the para. Planning Commission was established. Planning Commission was established in 1950. Planning Commission was established in 1950 to ensure all-round development. To ensure all-round development. To ensure all-round development. It was supplemented by National Development Council. It was supplemented by National Development Council. Supplemented by National Development Council in 1952. Supplemented by National Development Council in 1952 to ensure representation of states. To ensure representation of states. To ensure representation of states. Representation of states. However, change the para. However, majority of chief ministers. However, majority of chief ministers started showing party loyalty. Majority of chief ministers started showing party loyalty instead of putting regional problems. Instead of putting regional problems. This led to regional problem. This led to regional problems all across country. This led to regional problems all across country. Very important para it is for interlinking. This led to regional problems all across country, giving rise to regional party. Giving rise to regional party, multi-party system. Giving rise to regional party in multi-party system. Regional party, multi-party system. Coalition government. Coalition government. Coalition government. This further led to coalition government. This further led to unstable government. This further led to unstable government along with frequent change of leaders. Unstable government along with frequent change of leaders and policies. Frequent change of leaders and policy. Frequent change of leaders and policy finally led to policy failures. Finally led to policy failures called policy paralysis. It is UPSC question. Finally led to policy failure and policy paralysis. Policy failure and policy paralysis. It is also called, again it is UPSC question line, it is also called political hijacking of economy. It is also called political hijacking of economy. Political hijacking of economy. Hijacking of economy, which led to formation of Niti Aayog, which led to formation of Niti Aayog from 2015. Formation of Niti Aayog from 2015. However, change the para. However, Niti Aayog is also facing political boycotts. Niti Aayog is also facing political boycott on economic planning. Also facing political boycott on economic planning, leading to direct conflict between union and states, leading to direct conflicts between union and states, direct conflict between union and states, union and state. Change the para. Similarly, Nehru-led government. Similarly, Nehru-led government executed Mahalanobis model. Nehru-led government executed Mahalanobis model. In bracket you write Prashant Chandra Mahalanobis. In bracket Prashant Chandra Mahalanobis, economic advisor of Nehru. Prashant Chandra Mahalanobis, economic advisor of Nehru. Economic advisor of Nehru, bracket close. This model was developed in 1953. This model was developed in 1953 to ensure development of rural India, and to minimize gap between urban and rural area, and to minimize gap between urban and rural development. Minimize gap between urban and rural development. However, change the para. However, I suggest you better write. However, you cut it. You better write. According to the model, first to explain the model. According to the model, and here you just stop for 1-2 minutes, because one thing I would like to share with you. We are covering again not only paper 1, covering paper 2, paper 3 also. So this model needs detailed explanation. I won't push through. We are on time, we are moving. Today I'm just giving you an aerial view of this model so that you'll be mentally prepared. And my next session, because now I'm to back, so time is running out now. So I would like to just conclude here by giving you an aerial explanation, aerial view of this model. 1 minute में सुन जाओ, so that I'll be taking you back from this model itself to cover rest part of India's independence in my next 2-day, full day session. See, Nehru, just to make you understand faster, Nehru as Prime Minister was very much concerned about how to develop India from what side, from rural side or from urban side. He was a bit confused how to develop, because newly independent India, resources limited, challenges unlimited, demand from everywhere. So he has one economic advisor, Prashant Chandra Mahalanobis, also known as data man. He was basically man of statistics, master in statistics. So he asked Mahalanobis, how to start? Mahalanobis says, yes, Nehru, we have to start development from rural India, because India is country of villages. We have to start from rural India, but Nehru, अब यहाँ से आपको ध्यान देना होगा क्या गड़बड़ हो सा. Mahalanobis highlighted Nehru, कि Nehru, I am speaking, I was not sitting with them, I'm just making you understand this way. He said, Honorable Prime Minister, you have to start from rural India. But rural India could be developed by road. Road cannot be made by hand. It needs heavy machinery. Irrigation, heavy machinery. Drinking water, हाथ डाल के पानी नहीं निकालेंगे नेहरू, heavy machinery. Irrigation, heavy machinery. Power, heavy machinery. हाथ से तार नहीं खींच सकते. So Nehru बोले, Mahalanobis, then what to do? He says, Honorable Prime Minister, We have to start development for rural India, but to develop rural India, we first need heavy machinery. And heavy machinery needs heavy investment. Heavy investment needs R&D. क्या बोल रहे हो? बोले सर आप बताओ और कोई दूसरा तरीका है? Getting the point. That means heavy rural India needed heavy industries, heavy machinery, heavy investment, heavy industries, and heavy industry could not be established in rural India. क्यों? कनेक्टिविटी चाहिए ना, मटेरियल कैसे जाएगा, लेबर कहाँ से आएगा? So naturally, the heavy industry had to be established in urban India. As soon as Nehru started establishing heavy industry in urban India, criticism, the negative always spread faster. People started blaming Nehru. अरे ये गुलाब लगा के घूमने वाला प्राइम मिनिस्टर, ये वेस्टर्न, ये शराब पीने वाला प्राइम मिनिस्टर, क्या क्या लोग बोलते थे. He will never bother about rural India. He is most caring about urban India, heavy industry generating employment in urban India. And that was, heavy industry could not run its own. It needs R&D. For R&D, Maulana Abdul Kalam Azad came forward कि सर नेहरू हम IIT लगाते. IIT Kharagpur got established by Maulana Abdul Kalam Azad during. एक IIT से मतलब नहीं था. It was a trained R&D institution, CSIR, Council of Scientific Industrial Research, already in 1942. IIT, IIM, gradually business school, management school, R&D institutions. What happened? Nehru did not have कुबेर का खजाना. हम लोग देश के नागरिक हैं ना. We are citizens of the country. We have to be very objective, very rational in thinking. Naturally, all these process was going on. Simultaneously, what happened? Demand for separate state, violence all across India. In 1957, China intruded in Aksai Chin. See, in 1947, Pak occupied Kashmir. 47. If you take my face, that is complete, Jammu Kashmir. This is POK, right eye gone. This is Aksai Chin in 1957, within 10 years. This gone. Bacha kya? Ye French bacha na? We are projecting entire map, but basically we are having control over this part only. This part gone, this part gone. Naturally, because of that border tension, of course, Nehru was trying hard to avoid war. हिंदी चीनी भाई बोलो, हिंदी चीनी भाई भाई करे तो सुने, और दूसरा रास्ता बताओ, माओ जेदुंग को जाके 2 थप्पड़ मार देते क्या? अरे कोई जब आप सेफर पोजीशन में हो, when you are in receiving end, you will try your level best to avoid war. Ultimately, war happened, and अब आके पढ़ेंगे आप. I am very much tempted to say war happened in 62. Then we got brutalized. अगर हम react करते 57 में, had we reacted in 57 itself, can you imagine the kind of brutalization we would have? 62 में तो मार मार के हम लोग का तमाशा बना दिया. Lots of people say like we did not use our air force. अरे पढ़ो पहले ढंग से, एयर फोर्स कैसे यूज होता है. एयर फोर्स पानी से नहीं चलता है. एयर फोर्स के लिए फ्यूल चाहिए. हमारे we had airfield, but we had no fuel. All private company, petroleum company, Caltex, Burmacell, all refused to supply fuel to air force. They are asking कि कैश पेमेंट कर दीजिए. ऐसे ऐसे तो कंपनी है. इंदिरा गांधी इन हर टर्म कॉल्टेक्स को नेशनलाइज करके कर दिया हिंदुस्तान पेट्रोलियम, एंड बर्मासेल को नेशनलाइज कर दिया भारत पेट्रोलियम. लोग बोले इंदिरा गांधी डिक्टेटर है. डिक्टेटर है वो. प्राइवेट कंपनी वर नॉट सप्लाइंग फ्यूल टू एयरफोर्स ड्यूरिंग 1971 वॉर, 71 वॉर आल्सो. 71 वॉर में नहीं दिया था. 62 के वॉर में दे रिफ्यूज. देन हाउ एयरफोर्स विल ऑपरेटिंग? एंड बिकॉज ऑफ दैट नो स्नो बूट्स. We had been newly born country. Why China could mobilize that much? It is like China came from Qing dynasty. It's like Sindhya family. I belong to labor family. Someone comes from Sindhya family. How do you compare me with the Sindhya family? हम लोग को बैकग्राउंड देखना होगा ना. चाइना क्यों इतना में माओ जेदोंग के ऊपर से पैसा थोड़ी गिर रहा था. China came out from Qing dynasty, very rich dynasty. In 1914, we came out from colonial rule. मार खा के हम लोग निकले थे. Profusely bleeding from top to bottom. How can we be able to compete with them? These limitations we Indians have to realize, who, especially those who are aspiring to be civil servant. इसे देखोगे, those who are rankers, majority rankers you will find these days, they are very grounded candidate. और आप उसको देख के बोले अरे इतना humble background का कैसे हुआ? इसी का होगा. Because he has seen ground realities. उसको पता है ground realities क्या है. वो बुक से नहीं पढ़ता है. This is changing face of India. So as a result, what happened? Mahalanobis model was executed. And by the time, because of internal tension and violence, Man-Lewis model got aborted. As a result, what happened? Neither urban India could develop nor rural India. As a result, what happened? Huge gap between urban and rural India. Then what happened? Relate karo phir se. Migration of rural population towards urban India, which led to slums in all cities of India. Still today, slums in all cities of India, which led to now we are going for smart city. How can you develop smart city without developing a smart village? अभी अक्टूबर आएगा ना तो हैदराबाद में देखना रोड साइड ऑल पॉवर्टी स्ट्रिकन पीपल फ्रॉम माइग्रेटेड पॉपुलेशन फ्रॉम सब अर्बन इन आंध्र प्रदेश तेलंगाना दे वुड बी सेलिंग कस्टर्ड एप्पल, सीताफल बेचेंगे भी आप देखना। और आप जरा उनको देखो कैसे कहाँ के लोग होते हैं। मैं बाहर से आके उनसे इंटरेक्ट करता हूँ, आपको तो करना ही चाहिए। Entire roadside Indira Park, they would be sitting. Majority would be literally hand to mouth, along with all sorts of bucket and custard apple. I think all of you must be aware of. और देखो उसका क्या है? They are sitting there literally begging like, and people bargaining. आप आइसक्रीम पार्लर पर जाके इतना खर्च करते हो, वो आपसे 50 रुपीज मांग रहा है तो आप उसको बोल रहे हो 20 रुपीज 30 रुपीज कर रहे हो। आप डोनेशन मत दो, लेकिन एटलीस्ट उसका कॉस्ट तो दो। फार्मर्स इन Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, farmer growing this coconut, selling 2 rupees to 5 rupees maximum. That is being sold 30 rupees on roadside. In Delhi, 60 rupees. And coconut tetra packs. आपने देखा होगा पूरा मार्केट में, आपने कॉस्ट निकाला उसका कॉस्ट अकाउंटेंसी, टेट्रा पैक 80 रुपीज का पैक, एयरपोर्ट पर 130 रुपीज का है। 80 रुपीज का टेट्रा पैक मिनिमम ले लो। वन कोकोनट जनरेट्स 4 पैक। 320 rupees corporates are generating and farmers selling coconut in 5 rupees. How can income of farmer be doubled unless they get to know how to process? And how to process that needs a skill development. That skill development needs at their doorstep. They won't be able to come to headquarters to learn skill. Who will take care of their farmland? This is the whole issue. UPSC, what I am addressing, UPSC asks question. Do you agree with the statement, paper 2 question, do you agree with the statement that India needs smart villages before developing smart cities? Explain with arguments. This same question will be objective. आजकल objective उसी को बनाते हैं, ऐसे कर देते हैं. A smart city have to be supplemented by a smart village in India because 1, 2, 3, 4. Only 1 correct, only 2 correct, only 3 correct, only 4 correct. अब एकदम एक correct पर strike करना. It is possible only when you are that confident candidate that you know what you know what you don't know. इस साल का प्रीलिम्स का क्वेश्चन देखो, टच ही नहीं करने दिया, आपको ऑप्शन ही नहीं दिया। वो एकदम कॉन्फिडेंट कैंडिडेट स्ट्राइक किया इस बार, कट मार्क नीचे है, बट क्रीम कैंडिडेट्स, अभी तो उन्हीं को एड्रेस कल करूंगा। क्रीम कैंडिडेट्स एंड रियली आप सोचते हो सब उर्दू के जानकार बैठे होंगे वहां गजल गाएंगे, मजा ही कुछ और है ना। दोज हु नो उर्दू यू सिंगिंग गजल, दोज हु डोंट नो उर्दू आर सिंगिंग गजल, व्हाट नॉनसेंस, वेस्टेज ऑफ टाइम ओनली। आप लोग से भी एक बात कहूंगा, रियली यू नाउ यू नो मी, 95% plus candidate in this batch, you have that. I really, because I'm not able to give that much of detail, just I gave you aerial view, and I will come back to you with much more commitment and hope that majority of you would be able to. It's not individual. I alone cannot make difference. It's a teamwork. But yes, if every faculty takes charge like taking multidisciplinary approach, multidimensional approach, then you will find it so easy to prepare. I tell you before leaving you, 5-6 months is more than enough, but we consume 12 months around in order to be in market economy. Because if we start completing between 5-6 months, people will start doubting that we are bypassing. So to survive in market, we are just spending time to consume 12 months. Otherwise, does not require 12 months. 5-6 months में one go में clear हो जाता है. By today's session, you may have realized by interlinking कि interlink करना का जरूरत है. This is it. So this was Man-Lewis, and I'm leaving you on the point of according to the model. That according to the model, I will take off from that point itself in my next session. It will be scheduled very soon. See you back. Thank you. Come in the office now. It is over. So see you in next session, please. Thank you. Take care.